Let's go to one more topic with Onkar. Onkar, I just wanted to ask you about what this survey says and your views on the fact that India has got over-regulation, and we expected that to change. And we kept hearing ease of business is doing well. But one thing this survey does do, it gives a very honest table on how badly India is doing on regulation. I have a slight argument as to how it describes it in the text, but let's have a look at that table. It says India suffers from over-regulation. Mainly, it ranks very poorly in the world. Let's have a look at this. Overall rank 69, now 74th in the world. That's actually about the same, because in 2015 there were 102 countries, now there are 128 being considered, but it has not improved at least. But now look at this. The quality of regulation. We have gone down. We are 104th in the world. What about improper influence being used if you want to get something through? We've gone from 74 to 107, and this is all from the economic survey. They've quoted the World Bank, etc. The timeliness, are things done punctually, on time? We've dropped from 75 to 89th in the world. We were bad anyway. The one area where we've done well is that due processes have been respected. And where I have a slight difference with the economic surveys, they focused on that. And then they go into the other, or the also ran. But they also, what I do give them credit for, here's another startling fact they give. They're saying that starting a business now is so difficult in India that we are 130th in the world. And even registering a property, now these are things that affect everybody's everyday life. We're 154th in the world just registering a property. So one would have thought that with this government things would improve, that things would get streamlined, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Why is that, Onkar?
Well, much of this data, Prannoy, comes from the World Bank doing business studies, which started in 2016.
Yes,
and they do it every year, and the last one that came out was 2020. While we improved in overall rank, there are several of them which are pretty pathetic, actually. Why is it so? Because it's very simple. The only way you can get rent is by giving permission. And we've spent a very long period of our lives from 1947, in fact, even before 47, we've spent a very long period creating license, control, and various kinds of permit. Don't think that 91 got rid of it all. For every 10 things that we got rid of, we put in 5 other new things, right? And it is very central. You cannot do things without interfacing with the state. And whether it be the Ministry of Company Affairs, whether it be whether it be finance for taxation, whether it be anywhere, and even more so with state governments. So setting up business is very much dealing with people who give permissions. And India is about having people feeling good and feeling powerful about giving and not giving permissions. You and I and everyone else who is watching the program and everyone else who is involved in this program knows it very well.
In other words, that people in power, bureaucrats and politicians, you said rent, I think just clarified, they collect rent. That means they collect money to do things.
Yeah. No. By rent, it does not have to be bribes. By
Power,
rent, it is a notion of
that's right.
power.
Let's explain that.
It's a notion of power. It doesn't necessarily have to be bribes. Sometimes you can get everything done by just sitting with the guy, having 3 cups of tea and good words. But you wasted your time, which you should have normally done otherwise. So it's not about necessarily always bribes, though bribes are not unimportant at all.
Right.
But it's about power. And it's about disproportionate power where you are the supplicant and the other person gives.
Right, yeah, right. Is this asymmetry between the average citizen and the people in power. Dorab, the trouble with you Parsis is that you don't give people cups of tea, you don't do all that. So how do you get on in India as per this economic survey?
I think this applies to our public sector companies. People just don't want to let go. And I think that is what is causing the problems that we face, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. I mean, what explains Coal India being still not privatized? Let me give you just one quick example. In 2002, they sold Hindustan Zinc to Mr. Sterlite. The value of their company has gone up 66 times, while the index has gone up 15 times. I mean, you sold it, you can unlock enormous value. There is value in these places, but the government holds them so nobody gives them. Coal India, price is down when the market is doubled, 26,000 to 50,000 in 5 years. Coal India price from 330 to 130. What explains it? They just, we are strangulating ourselves, strangulating the economy. I think we've got to let go. I mean, of course, we can't let go entirely, but I mean, there has to be reasonable regulation, which we don't have. We just have too much of it.